Hello, it's David from David's Every Electrical Services Limited, and in this video I will be looking at 5 review sites: Google, TrustPilot, FreeIndex, Which, FIFO and Yell. Collating customer reviews and testimonials is important for those of you newly starting in business or thinking of one day going it alone. When running your business, reputation is everything, and if you take the time and effort to build up a good one, then potentially not only will you never be short of work, but you won't have to fork out so much on advertising. Reputations aren't created overnight, of course, and the mark of a good reputation isn't the amount of reviews you might have on a third-party aggregator such as TrustPilot, which can be faked. Rather, it's the amount of positive word-of-mouth trade you get in. That's bona fide customers recommending you to their friends and family because they were that pleased with your performance. You could fake positive reviews in order to make it look like you're well established. You could fake negative reviews for your competitors to make them look less viable. But however much time you spend on such forgery is ultimately for shit if the work isn't coming in, and if you're caught doing it, then that could spell curtains for your business brand before it's begun. It used to be so much simpler. Those of a certain age will remember J.R. Hartley and his quest to find a bookseller holding an out-of-print copy of his own book on fly fishing. Back in the 80s, he was wasting good shoe leather going store to store when all he needed was his landline and a copy of the Yellow Pages. These days, the old chuffer could search the web internationally in seconds and pop a second-hand copy of his book into the same Amazon basket as his Viagra and Werther's originals without having to move at all from his comfy chair.
Can you keep it for me? My name, oh yes, it's J.R. Hartley.
Yes, you only have to go back 20 years or so, and the places a tradesperson would traditionally advertise in would be the classified section of the local newspaper, the parish magazine, and paper directories such as the Yellow Pages and Thompson Local. Today, classified ads are largely and arguably dead, and the Yellow Pages went out of print in January. Those who are using such sources are more likely to be of J.R. Hartley's generation and who eschew the internet despite all its wonderful shopping and pornography opportunities. There is still a place for the parish magazine at this time if you have such in your area, and they remain excellent low-cost ways for local people to reach their public. Today, there are a plethora of places one may choose to promote one's business, and unlike traditional advertising of the past, which was all one-way broadcast, modern platforms allow interaction with clients, giving them the power to have their say on their experience. There's such a wide array of web-based sites that can be used for promotion that it's difficult to know which to concentrate on to ensure you're well represented and that your feedback isn't too diluted. If you want to accept customer feedback, do you choose to use just one platform so that reviews can be built up in larger numbers, or do you scatter your reviews by opening yourself up across many different sites? When I started this business, I chose the latter, and I allowed reviews on Facebook, Google, FreeIndex, Yell, Which and TrustPilot. Not all of these were available from the beginning. I started this company in 2012, but I didn't open up a business Facebook account until 2015, while Which came online in 2016 and TrustPilot in 2017, but FreeIndex and Yell were available from the beginning. If you use one single review site, then the advantage is that it allows you to potentially build up and manage a large collection of client feedback quickly, but it's imperative that you choose the correct site to work with, as we shall see. The advantage of scattering your reviews across multiple sites is that you'll get the attention of the pool of potential clients registered with each site who may otherwise have not found you, and it looks better if someone searches the internet for your services and can see good feedback recorded in multiple places. I started off with a scattered approach as I was happy for clients to record their feedback on whichever platform worked best for them, but as time has gone on, I've found some sites have let me down, forcing me to close my presence and lose the reviews that have been accumulated to date. I don't receive many reviews, and that's mainly because I don't chase for them. As a Which trusted trader, I'm encouraged to leave review cards with clients, but aside from a line in my invoice emails which asks customers to consider leaving feedback, I don't proactively seek it. They've awarded me with their custom. I don't want to intrude on their time nagging for comments. I myself don't like to be spammed to fill out surveys or pen feedback every time I buy a product or service, which seems to happen with increasing regularity for the most mundane of transactions, so I'm certainly not about to bug those who have kindly awarded me with their custom. My presumption is that they're happy, and if they're not, then they're welcome to take it up with me before they pay the bill. I deal with hundreds of customers per year, and to date, nobody has ever left genuine negative feedback or raised a complaint. Let's have a look then at some of the popular review sites to see which are really worth your investment in time, and I'm making this video with the assistance of Dunston, not his real name presumably, but it seems to fit. Dunston is my very own pet troll who, when not frenziedly masturbating, likes creating fake reviews for my business across all platforms he can find, and he's been invaluable in aiding me to identify which review platforms I can trust. So let's start with the big G. My business was listed on Google Maps and had accumulated a handful of positive reviews over time. The interesting thing about Google is the scammy marketing twats who believe it to be the be-all and end-all for businesses. If you're not at the top of Google, then nobody's going to find you. Or so they think. That generates nuisance calls from all sorts of asshole SEO people who claim they can get you to the #1 spot for a price. If you're going in for search engine optimization services, then ensure you employ a local firm you can trust. Never go with some cold calling prick. Personally, I've never been convinced that Google is quite that important. Most of my business comes from partner trades, the parish magazine, word of mouth and repeat clients who know from their own experience I'll get the job done without ripping them off. Not a lot comes in from someone who happens to type the word electrician into Google as a cold search, and even then I suspect many people would have a closer look at the results rather than just picking the first name from the list, which has probably paid to be there rather than getting to the top spot on reputation alone, so it doesn't mean they're actually the best outfit for the job. So Google I can take or leave, except you can't leave. Even if you don't create your own business listing, Google may do it for you, and without any notice. Once on there, it seems you can't delist your business, although you can mark it as permanently closed, which is a shit option if you aren't permanently closed, but just don't want to appear on Google. Why would any business not want to appear on Google? Well, because their review platform is broken. My first ever fake review landed in August on Google under the name Cynthia Moore.
He lives up the road from me and drives a garish orange van. The way he behaves is very common too. Commoner council estate talk. And it's people like him why we don't have a Waitrose in Leamington Spa. I have to drive all the way to Kenilworth if I need anything, as they have a Waitrose. The food in Waitrose is of much better quality than the budget supermarkets. If you buy tuna from Sainsbury's, it does not taste the same as the better brands. People like him should move from our area, as they lower the tone.
I'm not going to credit Dunston with this one because it has a wit and structure that I find amusing, unlike all the following fake reviews which we'll look at. This one is funny and I was happy to let it stay. Sure, it's 1 star and that drags down my otherwise 5-star rating, but it acts as a marketing draw in its own right. Potential clients may well click on it to see why I've got a 1-star review, in which case they'll spot it's a fake, have a giggle and may well go on to appoint my services based on the genuine reviews that are there. Possibly inspired by this, Dunston started penning false feedback, sadly without the wit of the Cynthia Moore piece. Take this shit, posted under the name of Julian Vanderhyde. Every time I've been, the stylists are excellent and really chatty stroke professional. Unfortunately, this time around the guy with a long ponytail cut my hair and the was extremely poor. Barely any English spoken, so didn't understand what I wanted. Filled my hair with lots of products to look greasy and then overcharged me when I normally pay £10. Will only be going back to see the same barbers. Fuck is that effort supposed to be? This same account was also used to leave nonsense for Wellsbourne Market and a 2-star review for a one-man band plumber based over 100 clicks from me. All of my guppies in my fish tank are floating around dead after he was sick in it. He was under the weather that day. I don't know who this plumber is, but the overwhelmingly positive feedback across various review sites suggests this is some guy trying to earn an honest living who doesn't need to be bothered by fake feedback from some unemployable fucktard with too much time on his fat fucking hands. When you get a fake review on Google, you can flag it and they will take it down if it fails to meet their terms of service. But here's the problem. Although Google remove the text of the review, they don't remove the star rating. Let's look again at the current feedback for that plumber. He has 7 reviews, all 5-star, no sign of the fake Julian Vanderhyde nonsense which Google has spotted as trash and removed. So why is the overall rating 4 out of 5? Well, it's because the 2-star rating of that fake review is still being counted, even though the text of that review is no longer there to see. And this is the flaw with Google's review system. They'll remove duff reviews easily enough, but not the star rating, or at least that might catch up eventually, but in the meantime prospective clients see that you have a sub 5-star rating without being able to see why. Google removed all my duff reviews without asking, even the Cynthia Moore one, which I was happy to leave in place, but their star ratings all remained. If the review is shite, then remove the entire thing, otherwise leave it wholly intact so that people can see it's a fake review and discount it. What's with this situation where the text goes but the stars remain? How does that help businesses using this as a review platform? Well, it doesn't. Instead, it means any business reputation can easily be vandalised on Google by someone determined enough to open fake accounts for leaving feedback. Even if their posts are swiftly removed, the star score, which makes an important first impression for potential clients, is successfully sabotaged. Thankfully, in my case, I was able to close my Google presence on a technicality. I told them to either reinstate the fake reviews so that the star rating could be taken into context, remove the reviews and their ratings entirely, or take me off their platform. They chose that last option, and without notice, because presumably they couldn't be asked to do things properly. Their justification for deletion, however, was not because I'd requested it, but that I was listed as a physical business on Google Maps rather than as a home office covering a service area. The twats. Still, at least I got off there. Some forums have business owners who just can't get their presence off Google's poisoned platform and remain open and unprotected against ongoing virtual vandalism. Moving on to my number 2 target, and I use the term number 2 in the vernacular because from my experience, they're a shit outfit. They are TrustPilot, as seen on TV. Just last week, in fact, on BBC's Watchdog Consumer Affairs programme. TrustPilot has just one job: to aggregate reviews, and it seems to do it really badly. The Watchdog programme was able to show how fraud financial service companies, blacklisted by the Financial Conduct Authority, were able to create a profile filled with fake positive reviews to entice the unwary, and how genuine negative reviews from those who'd found themselves financially fleeced were surgically removed. I'm approaching TrustPilot from another perspective though, that of a business who's been targeted by fake reviews rather than a conned customer. TrustPilot have paid or free services, and I opened a free account in 2017. TrustPilot shows my presence has been claimed, but that they have no evidence that I seek reviews. This is because of an annoyance with the TrustPilot setup, which may have changed since 2017, but I found that if you're on a free account, then the default email you can send out to your customers asking for feedback is worded to ask for their experience buying your products. Well, I'm not a shop, I don't sell products, I sell services. Unfortunately, you can't change the wording of the review request email on a free account. You can only do it if you fork over some money for a premium account. Back then I complained as the wording favoured stores but not service providers, which just didn't seem fair. My complaint went nowhere, of course, as they're a bunch of faceless wankers. Anyhow, with Google gone, Dunston moved on to TrustPilot and had a field day creating new user accounts and posting fake reviews on my page, as well as for Carpetright and eBay. Actually, the reviews for those two did appear genuine. It seems Dunston feels he's had his pants pulled down by each of them. But you're not a customer of mine, are you, Dunston? Although the star ratings vary, the content Dunston posts is mere babble. It's like watching someone losing their mind and reminds me of Viz Comics' Roger Irrelevant character, albeit without the wit. Wait, Frank Spencer? Maybe showing your age a little bit there, Dunston. I can understand an adolescent having time on their hands for mischief, but a middle-aged adult? Fucking hell. So how do TrustPilot react to a legitimate business being rubbished in this way on their platform? Well, like Google, you can flag individual reviews, which makes them immediately unavailable for viewing pending checks. This is how it appears when a review has been flagged. You can see it greyed out, which is nice, as you can get it quickly pulled from your profile so long as you're policing it. A full 11 days after I flagged this one, TrustPilot deleted the review and closed the case against it, so they're not exactly quick off the mark. What about all the others though? And earlier this week there were about 24 fakes that had appeared on my page over the past fortnight. Well, I opened a support case with TrustPilot to see what they would do about it, as I didn't want to lose the admin time going through the checking process for each one, especially as they kept coming in. Again, it took about 10 days, but TrustPilot did respond. TrustPilot aims to build trust between businesses and consumers by providing a space for customers to leave feedback about their genuine experiences. To ensure the integrity of reviews, we have customised software that checks our platform for activities that fall outside of usual reviewer behaviour. We're writing to let you know that our system has found reviews associated with dcess.uk on TrustPilot that don't meet our company guidelines and or we're unable to verify the authenticity of. Following our standard procedures, to date we've removed a total of 12 reviews of your company from TrustPilot. Each of the reviewers has been informed and can contact us if they believe there's been a misunderstanding. We've engaged directly with the reviewers because they own their reviews on TrustPilot, and whether or not we can reinstate the reviews is a matter between each of the reviewers and us. Hang on, so there were 24 fake reviews, and I mean obviously fake. They didn't even pretend to review my business, but only 12 have been identified and removed? Yes, it seems the other half have evaded TrustPilot's sophisticated monitoring, including this one, which claims to be from Georgia Toffolo, who I've since found is a reality TV person. I won't say celebrity, but even an account purporting to be in the name of someone in the public eye and using their image can get around TrustPilot's high-tech monitoring. Well done, TrustPilot. Or how about this one from Jess? David has been seeing me for 3 months now and is a great customer of mine. He pays me to wear high heels and then kick him in the balls. David always picks out the most seductive outfits for me to wear. We usually spend from 30 minutes to sometimes 4.5 hours together, and he loves it. So, TrustPilot somehow seem to feel like this is a legitimate review and ought to stay in place. I can assure you, I don't know this woman, but she certainly sounds like my type. As TrustPilots have demonstrated, they are wholly inadequate at preventing an attack such as this, and as their reporting and monitoring processes are so cumbersome and ultimately inefficient, I've decided to disassociate my business from their platform. I'm not closing my account though, merely repurposing it. So David Savory Electrical is no longer searchable on TrustPilot, and the dses.uk page has now become bumfluffersknobshine.co.uk and points to a dummy page promoting a pretend penis polishing product perfect for penning pretend positive praise. I urge any of you who are bored to create a TrustPilot account and leave a review on how Bumfluffer's Knobshine has changed your life. Go nuts! I'll bet any of you can do better than Dunston, at least until some TrustPilot twat gets wind of it and closes it all down. But fuck 'em, they'll have to stop Dutch ruddering each other at TrustPilot technical support and put in their own effort to can it. So far I've covered the top 2 turds, and you know, I'm not saying don't use either, but you need to be aware that they are both badly flawed and your business could suffer if targeted. If you're on the level and proactive about chasing up reviews, then the hundreds you perhaps receive will outweigh any negatives, whether they're legitimate or not. So you can protect yourself on these platforms to a certain extent just by gathering a large number of genuine positive reviews. If you're collecting few reviews though, then you need to keep an eye out for fakes and report them as they come in. However, if you attract someone like Dunston, whose benefits pay for his arse cheeks to sag around a Wetherspoon's bar stool all day as he creates multiple accounts on Google and TrustPilot using a clapped out laptop on their wireless network, then these 2 review aggregators can become bad for business. Moving on, and I've less to say about the rest, so let's start with FreeIndex, who are a directory service, one where people can post jobs if they're seeking a certain trade. Again, there are free and paid options with FreeIndex. If Joe Public posts a job where he needs a plumber, then the first 5 plumbers who respond are passed Joe's details. If you're on their premium service, then I think you get first dibs, so to speak. I've won a couple of jobs through FreeIndex in the past, but it seems to be a quiet platform, at least around here. I haven't seen a lead come in for electrical work since June, and even then I don't think anybody responded to it. I know I was just too busy to take a closer look back then. Dunston did target FreeIndex, but their support people are great, and the fake reviews were quickly pulled when reported by their straightforward flagging procedure. They also banned Dunston's IP addresses, but he likes to hide behind a VPN like a nonce. I've traditionally used a plugin provided by FreeIndex to display reviews on my website, and it's nice that their free accounts have that, as that's another extra you have to pay TwatPilot for if you want the same thing from them. Although I'm remaining on FreeIndex, I've turned off the reviews, as it's not fair on their support people to have to keep dealing with Dunston's diarrhoea, especially as I'm not on their paid service, and I don't want to have to keep checking that the knob end doesn't sneak something else in. Yell.com is another directory service, one more traditionally aligned to the paper directories of old. Again, there are free and paid options. I just use their free service, although that doesn't stop them contacting me regularly to try and sell me promoted listings or an identikit website that 100 of the Sparkers have all got with just different name and phone number to tell them apart. Yell also accept public reviews, and Dunston has posted 2 in the past week. It's interesting that one mentions sabotage of an aquarium, which chimes rather with the theme left for that plumber earlier. Not running out of ideas, are you, Dunston? Anyway, Yell already had the heads up to expect these, and my review services on their platform are to be discontinued shortly. They have a reporting procedure, but it seems a bit hit and miss. Which brings me on to 2 other services, ones that are perhaps more protective of the feedback received. Starting with Which. Those in the UK will know Which as a consumers association who provide independent reviews and reports on goods and services, and who campaign for and champion consumer rights. I've been a Which trusted trader since 2016, and unlike pretty much all other bullshit trusted, checked or rated middlemen schemes, which are no more than directory services with the most basic of checks, Which are more conscientious and careful about who they allow to display their logo. Which have a review function where clients can leave feedback, and I'm supposed to hand out these review cards when I do work for people, but again, I don't like to chase for reviews, and until now I prefer to aggregate them on a free platform such as TrustPilot, because if I ever left the Which Trusted Trader scheme, my reviews would be lost, and it's an expensive scheme to maintain. But now that Dunston has made me realise how flawed the likes of TrustPilot are, I'm looking closer at which. After all, I'm paying them to be a member, so I may as well get more out of them, and one of the services they offer for the dosh is review verification, which won't publish a review without verifying who is behind it, so Dunston can't get away with simply logging in under a fake account and posting drivel. Someone at which will want a name, address and contact details, and even then the review has to be relevant and not simply gibberish. That's not to say someone can't fool the folks at which, but they'd have to be a lot more determined. The text of a review would have to be planned. They'd have to give a phone number and email address which they're physically on the end of. They'll have to give a postal address where the work has supposedly taken place, and they'll have to change all those details if they want to try it a second time. Cowering behind a kiddie fiddler VPN won't be enough to cut the mustard, will it? But Dunston, old chap. As I'm paying for the which service, I can demand better scrutiny should something slip through the net. They've already had a heads up to expect suspect reviews on my account, so their robustness will perhaps be put to the test. Another site of interest, should all else fail, is FIFO. I've not used them, but it seems FIFO works by not accepting public reviews at all. Instead, it's review by invitation. Your customer is directly invited to leave a review, so you can ensure only genuine clients are responding. If they're negative, you have 48 hours to address it before it goes live. I'm not such a fan of this, as I'd prefer to get genuine feedback, positive or negative, and the problem with this sort of platform is that if I felt I hadn't had a good experience with a client, I just wouldn't invite them to leave feedback, so the reviews are always likely to be skewed to the positive. It's also a paid platform and they're not forthcoming with their prices, so I expect it's more than I'd want to blow my beer tokens on. I don't actually need any review service at all these days. My partner trades, existing client base and word of mouth will always keep me busy regardless of how many stars any given website might award me, and that's the case for anyone who strives to work hard and provide an honest service. Take the time to build up a reputation, and third-party website reviews may eventually just become filler. While I'm here, I should give a dishonourable mention to Facebook. I was on Facebook from 2015 to 2018 with a business presence, where I'd built up 8 positive reviews. I can't abide face-fucking-book, and I didn't want to interact with it at all. I'm certainly glad I'm not on there at present, or Dunston would have a field day creating dummy users to post shite, I'm sure. I've no idea how hard falses would have been to remove, but let's assume it would be a massive pain in the arse because, like Google and TrustPilot, it's just too big a platform to police, and they're too faceless to care unless they're making money out of you. Speaking of dishonourable mentions, Checker Trade, Rated People, Trusted Traders, these and seemingly hundreds of others, perhaps lesser known, are all examples of directory services who, like Yell.com, allow client feedback, but unlike Yell.com, they use words such as checked, rated and trusted to make it appear their listings are all bona fide and verified in some way. The checks performed by these sites are often minimal, and should the relationship between a tradesperson and client go sour, their terms and conditions all say that it's fuck all to do with them in not so many words. They might offer an arbitration service, but in my opinion, the terminology they use in their advertising is misleading, and there are rogue operators who nestle in among the honest folk. End clients shouldn't take their word that any listed business is legitimate and accredited. Always perform your own checks if you're likely to be handing over large sums of money. Traders should be aware that once they start building up a reputation and reviews on these sorts of services, they can jack the price right up, knowing they've got you locked in. In my view, these sites offer a race to the bottom by pitting tradespeople against each other for bargain hunters and time wasters. The way they dangle leads in front of the trades, watch them scrabble about for the business and then pocket a fat slice of the profits is nothing short of demeaning, in my opinion. Personally, I wouldn't give them the steam off my piss, but I'm sure as much as I'm ready to swear at them, there will be those watching who swear by them and find them good for business. The point is, any site you pay to host reviews for you eventually has you by the balls, and if you have hundreds of reviews built up over the years, ditching them is a massive loss, so you end up paying whatever ludicrous sum they may start demanding. This is why you need to know the pitfalls of these sort of services and decide early on which to commit to. But that's all for today. Don't forget to look up Bumfluffer Knobshine on TrustPilot and leave a review before it gets taken down. Thanks for watching.